Evie, this is crazy. I mean, first you're having these visions and these dreams, and now you think Cruz's brother? Man.
Thank you, dear. What was it you wanted to talk to me about?
Your son, Rick.
You said you didn't get to see him in Paris.
No, I didn't. But I did want to know why Rick hates Cruz so much. Do you know what happened between them?
Why do you want to know this all of a sudden, Eden?
Well, I know how painful this is for Cruz, but I do think the two of them should resolve this thing. I mean, Cruz is an uncle, and don't you think it's time they should start speaking again?
I wish I could believe that would happen. I'll never forget that day, Eden. Cruz had just gotten back from Europe. He was over there working for the government, and I was so proud of him. And Rick was in some kind of trouble in high school. But right before Cruz came back for Christmas, things were beginning to fall into place for Rick.
What was he doing then?
Well, he was working at a bank, and he seemed to like the job. But I knew that Rick was jealous of Cruz, so I tried not to make too much fuss when Cruz came home.
What happened?
Well, I could sense right away that Rick resented Cruz's being home. You know, after their father left, Cruz kind of made himself the man of the house. He was just trying to help, but Rick just hated it when Cruz would tell him what he should do. And Cruz was only home 2 days when the fight happened.
Well, what started it?
I don't know. I came home from work and they were screaming at each other. It was terrible. And I don't think they've said 2 words to each other ever since.
Well, how long did Cruz stay after that?
Just a few days. And after Cruz left, Rick lost his job at the bank. Some bad business deal. I never really quite understood it. After that, Rick changed. He became very, very bitter. And one day I came home and he was gone.
Why hasn't Cruz talked to you about this?
Well, I don't have to tell you how stubborn he can be.
Yeah, well, he should open up someday.
Well, as much as I'd like to see my 2 sons together again, I'm not counting on it. But I was counting on being able to see my grandson. Is Chip in his room?
Yes, he is. As a matter of fact, he should be waking up when he's napping time now.
Oh, good. Oh, thank you, dear.
Oh, you're welcome.
Eden, this business about Rick and Cruz, I don't think it's something you should push.
So are you going to take her advice? I can't. I don't care how much Rick hates Cruz. I can't let anything get in the way of us finding our baby.
Excuse me.
I was just leaving.
Well, Julie, you don't have to...
No. Whatever the DA has to say, I'm sure is so very important.
Doesn't mind me. If she doesn't try to hide it.
An admirable quality, don't you think?
Is this your brother?
Yeah.
Oh, great record. I hope that he's not planning to move to Santa Barbara soon. Look, I wanted to tell you that my office is doing everything it can to track down that missing rental car. And I've got a friend in the San Francisco DA's office who's helping out. I think we should get some word on it soon.
Well, thank you. I'm pretty much convinced that woman is the one who has my baby.
Cruz, I got a message that you want to see me?
Yeah, I do, Scott. Yeah, you think that we could have a moment?
Sure. Listen, I'll let you know as soon as I hear you.
Thanks again. Appreciate you coming by, man.
No problem. The hospital beat me in the middle of a procedure.
A procedure?
Yeah, you know.
Well, what do you mean? A surgical procedure? I'm sorry.
No, nothing like that. It was more like, a cosmetic procedure. The hell with it. Look, I was having a facial, all right?
A facial?
Yeah. You know, guys have them all the time.
They do? Do you have them regularly?
No, look, it's a long story. What was it that you wanted to see me about?
Would it be possible to remove a birthmark surgically from a baby?
Something like this.
Is this the same woman I was sitting here with a couple of hours ago?
Oh, do you think I look all right?
I think you know the answer to that question.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Looks good, huh?
Yeah, looks great. Michael, may I have a word with you? Excuse me. Sure. Please, no. What's up? Well, you and my wife seem to get a chance to do some talking when you go running.
Some?
And I'm trying to convince her to not put so much of herself into her work.
Well, she's very dedicated to that school.
I know. She's really thrown herself into it, but to my mind, it's a dead end. Once a school gets into that shape, all you can do is really maintain it. You can't expect to go in there and start changing things.
Wow, that's a pretty pessimistic
The
attitude.
realistic. You see, Laura is an idealist. And, I mean, she sees possibilities in that school that simply don't exist anymore. She's always been a dreamer. But I've noticed it more since we've moved to Santa Barbara.
I wouldn't call it dreaming. I admire her spirit. I think if there had been more people like Laura, and that school never would have fallen into the shape that it's in. Your wife cares about people that everybody else has forgotten, and I know she can make a difference.
Well, that's quite a speech, but I think that you haven't quite gotten used to not having the collar on. You're not dealing with the real world just
Mr.
yet.
Asher, your office just called. There's been an emergency. Your wife's been taken to the hospital.
Oh, people generally wait until the child is older, but it is possible to remove a birthmark from an infant.
Without leaving a scar?
No, even the best cosmetic surgeon will leave some kind of a scar. But with a child, it'll take about 6-8 months. It'll blend in with the skin, and you won't even be able to detect it.
Uh-huh.
Well, I didn't see a scar, but once I didn't see the birthmark, I didn't look very closely.
Well, if there's anything else I can do for you, just give me a call.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate you stopping by, man.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
What was that for?
I'm sorry, I didn't think that you were taking me very seriously.
Oh, darling, you know, I'll check on anything if there's any chance it'll lead to the baby.
I talked with your mother, and she said that you never mentioned anything to her about the fight that you had with Rick.
Yeah? I didn't see any purpose to it.
What happened?
Well, I came home from Christmas one year, and I got a call from a friend of mine in the police force, and he said that they were running a sting operation, and they found out that my brother was involved in a scam with these real heavy hitters. He was stealing money from the bank, and they were about to expose the whole operation. And when I confronted Rick about it, he pretty much said he didn't see anything wrong with it.
With stealing?
Yeah. I knew it'd kill my mama if they threw him in jail, so I pulled some strings and helped him out. And then I got in his face and tried to talk some sense into him about it, and, well, talking was never something we did real well. And it ended up turning into a real nasty fight, which had been coming on for a long time. You see, my brother and I, well, it cut deeper than any one incident. It's just like we were somehow born at one another's throat.
Is it from Paris?
Yeah, I can't make out the French, though.
Baby girl was born at Duval Medical Center to Ricardo and Hollis Castillo. Charisse, healthy baby girl. Documents like this can be forged. Zach forged hospital records like this.
Cruz, sorry to bother you. I just got word the principal over at Crestview High was just attacked. Asher wants you over there right away.
Okay, tell him I'll be there.
Right.
My wife, where is she?
Inside, the doctor's room.
What's her condition? What happened to her?
Please calm down, Mr. Asher. Now, your wife's vital signs are stable, but she's still unconscious.
When is she going to come out of this?
We won't know anything for a couple of hours. Now, I want you to wait outside.
No.
You're too wound up, Mr. Asher. Outside.
She'll be all right.
The attack was aimed at the mural. There wasn't any other vandalism.
You got nothing else to go on?
Just that it was the work of a gang that's been around a long time. As a matter of fact, I used to hang out with some of those guys. My little brother was actually a member, which is one of the things that ruined his life.
I want you to drop everything else and find the bastard that attacked my wife.
Well, we'll certainly do
I
it.
don't want to hear a speech. I want you to do it, and I want you to handle it personally. Do you understand?
Remove the birthmark. Wouldn't you have seen a scar?
I wasn't looking for a scar.
But on a little baby like that?
Not necessarily.
Eden, wouldn't you know, if you were holding Adriana in your arms? Babies change, every few months they change. How would you know? I know, but she's your baby. Who are you calling? Calling Rick's house. He and his wife left the baby last time. They might have done it this time, too.
Do you really think this is a good idea to just call?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
What is it? Are you okay? I heard a baby crying. I heard my baby crying.